Securing Information Systems, Part 2, Lecture 4 of 10. Here's just a quick revision on the types of hacker. Originally, a person who enjoyed computer technology and spent time was called a hacker. Then we came up with white hat hacker, a black hat hacker, a criminal hacker, insiders, virus programs that rely on linking themselves to another program, as against a worm, that sort of parasite that just works on the machine without attaching itself into a program, and then a Trojan horse and a logic bomb. Okay, let's move along. After white hat hacker, here's a leather-hatted hacker with a very powerful machine. It takes him 5 seconds to hack into many systems. Now, when you think of employees, of course, inside knowledge, secure procedures, lack of knowledge, tricking employees into revealing their passwords by pretending to be legitimate members of the company. I say, what's the secret password? I don't know. Correct, come on in. Now, software vulnerability. How do you cope with it? Well, sometimes the companies give patches. What exactly is a patch? Well, you can see this knee needs a patch. Bob Rankin talks about the top 10 ways of crashing your computer. And here they are. Failing to apply secure patches, not using antivirus, not using a firewall, clicking on bogus pop-ups, unsafe downloading, falling for phishing scams, not securing your Wi-Fi, haphazard deleting, forgetting to back up, setting up a biased password. Yes, what you really want to do is that. Add a patch. The 3rd annual Nigerian email conference. Write better emails and make more money. I am Mr. Laurent Mbeti Kabalia, a senior assistant leader of the Revolutionary United Front of Sierra Leone. I present to you an urgent and confidential request. I request your attendance at the 3rd annual Nigerian Email Conference. This is an excellent opportunity to meet your distinguished colleagues, learn new marketing techniques, and spend your hard-earned money. Attending this conference demands the highest trust, security, and confidentiality between us. Like most Nigerians, you're probably finding that it's increasingly difficult to earn decent living from email. That's why you need to attend the 3rd annual Nigerian Email Conference. The dates of this are November the 7th to the 9th, 2011. The location, Abuja Sheraton Hotel and Casino. Registration fee $995 per person. Now, there's a breakfast kick-off session, and your choice: a hard-boiled egg or 2 slices of white bread and cricket. This is followed by a practical discussion. Malam Mahmoud Abaka answers the question: are 10 million emails a day too many? That is followed by a date. Attend a lively debate between Lady Mariam Abacha and Mr. Godwin Oyatelem. The topic: the effectiveness of using all uppercase characters. Loss of revenue. What does loss of revenue bring about? Well, in actual fact, of course, it brings about lower market value. Security breach may cut into a firm's value almost immediately. Legal liability, lower employee productivity, higher costs. What are the trade secrets that come out of this? Strategy, government information. Electronic control. In legal action, a firm is obligated to respond to the discovery. A request for access to information may be used as evidence, and a company is required by law to produce this data. One of the problems is that company employees may be using their time and sending their own emails during company's time. Companies are required, therefore, to store these own emails. PC forensics. Courts impose severe financial, even criminal penalties for improper destruction of documents. Now, what are the general controls? These cover the design, security and use of PC programs and data throughout the IT organization, combination of hardware, software and manual procedures, establishing a framework of control. What you need to do is have input controls, processing controls and output controls. Some security professionals would add further categories such as deterrent controls and compensation. Others argue that these subsidiary categories what's important is physical control: fences, doors, locks, fire extinguishers. Procedural controls: incident response processes, management oversight, security awareness and training. Technical controls: user authentication, i.e. login. How do you log in? Login access controls, antivirus softwares, firewalls. And then legal and regulatory or compliance controls, privacy laws, policies and clauses. Now this slide looks at another important factor in establishing an appropriate framework for security and control: risk assessment. What's your risk assessment? Power failure, embezzlement, user error, and you could set down some expected annual loss here. Well, we've listed 3 of these in order of the most important. Well, power failure. What could that cost? Embezzlement. User error. User error is the most likely. Power failure is the next, and embezzlement is the third. Now you need a security policy. And this is the need for a firm protecting the company's assets, having policies. A security policy drives how information systems support this. The text provides examples of security policies at Unilever, multinational consumer goods company, which requires every employee with a laptop and mobile handheld to use an approved device and employ password or other method of identification when logging into the corporate network. Of course, then we come to this. The security issues for two sets of users of personnel database contain sensitive information such as employees' salaries and medical histories. Divisional managers cannot update the system but can read all employee data fields for his or her division, including medical history and salary. Clerical employees who input employee data into the system can update the system but can neither read nor update sensitive fields. These security profiles based on access rules supplied by business groups in the firm. And what have we got here? Medical history, salary, pension, and then it looks at security profile 2. Disaster recovery planning. Discussion of essential activities the firm performs to maximize security and control. Here looking at planning for activities as should a disaster occur, such as a flood, earthquake or power outage. Note, disaster recovery plans focus primarily on the technical issues involved in keeping the systems up and running, such as which files to back up and the maintenance of backup. PC systems or disaster recovery services. Management must determine, it says, maximum time systems can be down. Which systems? Now, if we look at Vodafone recently, we're down for 4 to 6 hours. Information Systems Management Audit. The role of auditing. Looking at whether the present systems overall security is in place. What have we got here? Chance of error abuse. Yes, no. Yes, leave system open to unauthorized outside attackers. Eliminate accounts without passwords. Network configured to allow some sharing of the files. Yes, no. Exposes critical system files to hostile parties connected to the network. Ensure only required directories are shared and that they are protected with strong passwords. Now what you need is some access control policy. How do you manage this? Authentication, password systems, biometric authentication, all of these trying to stop outsiders coming in. There's one method you might use. Here's another. There's another. Looking at facial issues. What's this about? Why are we interested in trees? Well, of course we're not. We're interested in the gap between the trees. Why is there a gap between the trees? Because that gap is a fire break. This is such a dramatic picture. Intrude on settings, other security programs and virus anti-spam programs on your computer. What does this do? If your system is not properly configured, then it will not let you access any particular website, cause problems in the browser settings, slow down PC performance, freeze up the system, cause internet connection problems, cause issues in viewing online videos, movies and games, frequent internet connections. So what are you looking at here? A corporate firewall, but what you will have is an outer firewall and then an inner firewall. Firewalls placed between the firm's private network and the public internet or distrusted network to protect against unauthorized traffic. So they're saying have two firewalls. When you look at students with laptops, do they have some sort of unified threat management, UTM? Can they manage to keep out attacks? Of course, here's one girl saying we eat viruses for breakfast. However, the second girl is not quite so sure. A company needs firewalls, intrusion detection, virtual private networks, web content filtering, anti-spam programs. All of these work together to produce a unified threat management system. And when you look at that, there it is. So more work needs to be said about this. Alright, so you've got time-based restrictions, user-based restriction, web blocking, antivirus, bandwidth limiter, anti-spam. All of these things you're using in order to make your company safe. Encrypted authentication systems with central server. When you look at public key encryption, here it is. Now, Bob wants to send a message. Here's his message. Hello, Alice. He encrypts this message with Alice's public key and then sends it. Now Alice, before she can read it, decrypt it, needs to use a private key. Then she can get the message. Here's another look at it. The public key encryption system is viewed on a series of public and private key locks. Lock data when they're transmitting it and unlock data when it's received. But of course you need the public key and the private key. ICICI Bank. There's a reading on this. Have a look at that. Here's more things about disaster recovery. Of course, some companies have set up alternate computer systems which are just waiting for the first system to go down so that they have a second system in place. Okay. There's some work here on passwords. Have a look at this, and I think we're done. Okay, let's go to here, take that along to there